grandma's, we get a ride on a bike that's not ours. I'd like to introduce you to my buddy Will, or running on MT, his non-MT07. This is an FZ07. We are currently heading up to his house to deliver it to him, because it's been at my house for about a week now. Well, no, 4 days? 4 or 5 days. He's been feeling under the weather. We were supposed to go on a ride on Saturday, but, you know, when you're not feeling well, you're not feeling well, and you shouldn't ride. Right? Don't force yourself to do something that wouldn't be beneficial to you. So I'm taking it back up to him, just to be a nice friend. He's going to drive me home. So I figured, why not do what we did last time and give you guys, this isn't a first ride in impressions, this is a third ride in impressions, of what is a 2017, I think it's a 2017 FZ07 with a couple of miles on it. I think it's at like 13 or 17,000 miles. But I mean, this thing runs great. No issues at all. The CP2 motor is still one of my favorite motors. It's just a killer, a screet killer. You get all the torque that you need while still being able to have fun at highway speed. And I mean, the sound of it is phenomenal. He does have an aftermarket exhaust on it, so this is not the stock exhaust. And it is an eBay special exhaust, which, you know, it doesn't sound half bad. For, I think it cost, shipped to his house, was like 120, 130 bucks. Took a little while to install though. Just because it wasn't like super quality control parts. But I mean, this thing still just, it sounds amazing. Phenomenal for being a $130 exhaust. I will say he does need it tuned. A couple of things that I would do is I would maybe raise the bars a little bit if you want to do more like a long-term cruising, maybe like an inch, or even just rotate them out a little bit. I would definitely swap over to a set of aftermarket levers. That's just me. The stock levers on Yamahas are kind of whack in my opinion. Of doing hooligan things and test riding motorcycles. So like I was talking about, the CP2 motor has got a lot more power than a lot of people think it does. You can do things like that, no issues. This thing is just a little beast to ride. I do know that the MT, I'm pretty sure the MTs, and I know that the R7s come with a quick shifter that you can buy from Yamaha. That's really, really nice, especially on those little like quick upshift things that you want to do right there. Not a lot of people know how to do that quick. I am not one of them. I know that I could still get faster. I could do the whole, you know, clutchless, just, you know, float the gear thing, but I ain't there quite yet, and this isn't my bike, so I don't want to risk it. But this little thing still rips, and it sounds amazing while doing it, and it looks even better. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of like the big single headlight style, but that's just me. I know some people prefer it, especially on the FZs and, you know, things like the Suzukis, the Gixxers. I prefer the MT styling, where it has like those two on the side with the big ass high beam in the middle, but that's just me. Comfort wise, this thing is so comfortable. You know, if I had a 636 motor in this with a windscreen, this would be the bike that I would want to ride day in and day out. Now, I know a lot of you guys are probably thinking, you know, why don't you just get an MT-09 or something like that, or even the Z900? When it comes to naked bikes, I would definitely stick with Yamaha. They've really got everything dialed in on that MT-09. I mean, that thing is just a beast of a bike. It's fast as hell. It's torquey as a mug, dude. But it's expensive, you know. You're getting a little bit less performance than you would if you were to go out and buy a standard 600cc bike, just because the engine design, you know, being a triple cylinder instead of an inline four. It, you know, and I honestly, I just really wanted a 636. If I were to get a naked bike, I think it would probably either be an MT-09 or an MT-07, depending on price point of where I could find one. But, you know, first place, definitely that MT-09. Oh, you hear that little pop backfire? This little thing, she eats, she sounds good, she looks good. This is a bike, dude. Of course, I gotta give my buddy running on MT some crap, you know, because he was talking about going out and getting a Gixxer and getting a sport bike, and then when we found this thing, because he got it for a steal, dude. You know, we were seeing these things pop up all over the place for $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 for around the same model year, maybe up to a 2020 for $8,000, and we're like, yeesh, you can buy one new for that. So this dude, he hit him up on Facebook. He was just like, hey, I like the bike, I like the price. So we went and looked at it. He lived about an hour and a half away, and he said that we were the first people who showed up that actually were, you know, serious about buying the bike. And this is all while I was on the test drive of it, making sure that everything looks good. And I almost dumped it on the test drive, which would have been awful. I forgot how much MT's like leaning over. But he was talking to the dude, and the guy was just like, yeah, I didn't expect you guys to actually want to buy it, so I didn't bring a car or anything, or like have a ride to come and pick me up. And we were like, oh damn, you know, we'll take it, but if you take $1,000 off, we'll drive you home. And I said that completely as a joke. Little did I know that Will had already been talking to him, and he was just like, you know, would you take this amount, which was $1,000 off the asking price? And the guy said, if you drive me home. So I thought it was just real funny how it all worked out. But getting this thing home was a blast. I enjoyed it thoroughly. Of course, we trailered it home in my truck. Well, not trailered, we just loaded it in the bed. But it was a blast, just going and picking it up, meeting a new cool guy, getting a bike for cheap. To the point where if we wanted to sell this, we could. He could honestly almost make double what he spent on it. And I fully believe that the enjoyment that you'll get on one of these bikes is 110% worth it, especially for that price point. If you can pick one up secondhand, you are golden. And I'm trying to keep the RPMs down a little bit so that way you guys can hear me talking. But we'll see what this sounds like in post, just depending. One thing that I don't know if I would recommend everybody to do it, but if you can see right there, and on this side, we do have a crash cage. That is because the MT and FZ07s are one of the best sport bikes, or rather, bikes in general that you can buy for stunting. Me and my buddy are going to try and start getting into all that fun stuff, but we're both a little bit chickens. We've never really done anything intentionally. I will say the wheel on the 636 has come up a couple of times, completely unintentionally, but you know, it's still immensely fun. And I think once you get the skill to do some tricks on a bike, you know, and I'm not talking full stunt shows, but you know, it's just your understanding of the bike just becomes that much better. It sounds like a Jake brake when you go to slow down. Oh my. treat for you guys. We're gonna see what the FZ07 is like on the highway. I will say this thing does get a little windy because he does not have a front windscreen on it, fairing or anything, so it gets a little rough, little choppy, if you will. I don't know if I could do what my boy Chase on Two Wheels does with a 40 to 80 pull, but I'll be damned if I don't try, especially for you, the viewers at home, who are curious about buying one. God, this thing is so loud. I thought my ZX6R was loud with the aftermarket exhaust, but this thing is just next level with the $100 exhaust. I don't know if we can do a 40 to 80 pull, but we'll mess around. We'll do something, all right? I owe it to y'all who have been following the channel, having fun. See what she can do. Oh, yeah. Oh, it is windy, boys. So, like I said, this thing may not make the most power. It may not, make the most torque or sound the coolest in your opinion. But the fact that you can easily go 60 to 100 and just cruise, just be comfortable on a bike like this, it's amazing. Hands down, one of the coolest bikes anybody could own. Now, going back to what I was talking about with the stunt cage, is you can do this fun little trick. And you got yourself some highway bars, boys. So you could just be cruising all comfy like, going as we're doing 77 miles an hour with your feet propped up like a Harley boy. Not to mention you got that parallel twin motor between your legs, giving you I want to say distinct Harley sound, but it don't sound like no inline four crotch rocket highway screamer. It's got that deep grunt to it. It's got that nice sound down low. But you definitely need a windscreen, because oh my, this thing is windy on the highway going 70 miles an hour. You can see the front end trying to shake, and I'm trying not to hold the bars too tight, because we all know you just kind of want to have a gentle grip on those. But this thing is whipping us back and forth, I'll say that much. But this little thing is a ripper. Would I recommend it as a first bike to some people? Maybe not a first bike. Definitely a second bike, or if you just want to have an addition to like something in the stable. This is definitely a good choice. It's the same thing like a Grom. Groms make a little bit too low power. They ride a little funky. If it's your first time riding a bike, learning how to putt around on one is great, but when it comes to actually like riding it may not be something I would recommend. And this thing, if you have experience on dirt bikes or something like that, this one may be a good first bike for you. But if you don't, I would just be a little wary of the power that you actually hold in your hands, because this, like I said, this little thing does go. It's also extremely light and flickable. Like, I mean, this little thing just, I got hit in the head with a bug. The whole MT line is just super light and flickable. They're really light on their feet, and honestly, it feels amazing just to ride. And just right there, you don't even have to be, fully in the throttle to get everything going. You can be a little gentle. That is one thing that I do like about Yamahas, is they will respond to the inputs that you put in. They feel very linear in their power, right? So where some bikes, if you put, you know, half throttle in, you may get more than half throttle, you may get less than half throttle. It just kind of depends. Nice brake lights. What are you doing, buddy? But these things, I mean, from every single Yamaha that I have ridden, it seems very, very, you know, just responsive to what you want it to do. The bike doesn't necessarily have a mind of its own. And I will say, after getting the 636 tuned, it also feels more like that. It's more responsive to what your actual inputs are versus what the stock tune for the ECU thinks you want the bike to do. Or it could be limiting it to that. So for those of you who don't know, when it comes to tuning a bike, it's a little backwards. A lot of the time, they're not actually messing with like the actual hardware components or anything, or how anything runs, but a lot of it has to do with like the timing and fuel mapping. So I know specifically the ZX6R, the throttle and fuel were a little funky when it came to like higher RPMs and higher gears. It could cut it all the way down to like 7.5%, versus now after tune, you know, post tune fun times, if you give it 100% throttle, you're getting 100% throttle, which is honestly like one of my favorite things about it now, because it does what you want it to do, and I feel like Yamahas are real good at doing that. Turning up in here. Is that Mr. James? I think that might be. Oh, I think that might be my buddy's little brother. But this bike in general is just a beast of a bike, and it is definitely incredibly easy to speed on. Now we're gonna go up here to a little area I know, just so that way I can give you all a walk around of this fantastic little machine. I don't know how much these go for nowadays. I want to say they're sitting around like the $8,000 price point, which if you're looking to finance a bike, get a brand new, honestly, unless you want to go for a 600cc class, or you want to go for like the inline fours and what have you, this is the route to go down in this moto vlogger's humble opinion. Alright, so let's give y'all a little once around on this thing. As you can see, what I was talking about with that big headlight right there, it's just super, it's, in my opinion, big and in your face. I know that they make some aftermarket ones, which in my opinion may look a little better, might not. I'm not a huge fan of the turn signals on the front. Yamaha always does those real big stocky ones, but those can be changed. I call it the goober bike, right? Because it almost kind of makes you look like a goober when you're riding it. But this thing, I mean, it's just so much fun. And obviously he needs to get rid of this big old whale penis that's hanging off the back. Go for a TST, you know, tail tighty, bring everything back up in there. And another thing that if you guys know how to do on your bikes, you'll love about this thing. Ooh. Let's turn it off before I do that. It's extremely simple to do a kickstand turn, because this thing is pretty light. But enough of that for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to see me riding this thing more, drop a like or drop a comment down there. If you did enjoy the video, like the video. Subscribe if you want to see more from your boy. But until then, this has been your boy, Papa Blevins, and I will catch y'all next time. Peace.